All right, welcome Senior Home Business family. We got Drew in the house. Matt's here. Today we're talking about TSL, and you saw the thumbnail on the deal. Senior living is booming, but most agents are broke, and we're going to go through why today. I mean, Drew, that is an amazing thing because senior living is growing tremendously. We always talk about 2030, all the baby boomers will be 65, and the trajectory of this business going up, all these communities that are going up. But if the industry is booming so much, why are a lot of your agents just flat out broke? And I think, we'll get into 10 of these reasons today. And we're going to rapid fire today because there's a lot of information we're going to cover today. So stay with us. We won't keep the video super, super long, but man, I want to give you all this information, and I believe you'll be excited about it. If you'll know more about TSL, more about what we do as senior placement agents, you can click some links down below and go from there. But Drew, let's get into it. I think the first thing is they choose a job, not a business. And I think they're accustomed to doing that. In my own opinion, is they're used to having a job. Unless you kind of grew up in an entrepreneurship family, I didn't. My mom and dad were, 7 to 3, 8 to 4 kind of people going to the factory, doing the thing. And I just, mom and dad goes to work and son stays home when he's not in school, and son goes to school X number of hours, and everything's compartmentalized. And I think a lot of people, when they get in this industry, they think that it's just a job and it's not a business. And that's far from the truth. What do you think?
I totally agree. I think a lot of people, it's just a natural human tendency. Once you get comfortable, kind of right at that subsistence level, you've got a little extra cash each month, you get comfortable, kind of rest on your laurels and let those relationships keep sending you referrals until those relationships fizzle out, or the person changes and moves to a different sniff, and and then you have to kick your butt into gear and get new relationships, get new lead sources. But it can be tempting to kind of lay back, but it takes that growth mindset. If you as a businesses always want to grow, and the way to grow a business in the senior placement industry is to get more leads. I don't think I've ever heard of someone say, I'm drowning in leads, but I'm broke.
I'm hurting. I woke up this morning, had 5 leads, but I can't handle it anymore.
I'm broke though. I can't seem to make money.
But that's what it is. I think a lot of them are operating like employees, waiting for leads, not creating momentum. To your point about the lead thing, you're right. I mean, nobody cries about that, right? They talk about either low income leads, no leads, how to get the business going, how to establish momentum, things like that. But I think a lot of it could be just a mindset that you are still operating in a job capacity and you're not looking at this as a business. And you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to be more vision oriented. You need to see the future 5 steps ahead. Patrick Bet-David, that's a book of yours that I love. But it's just all about that. If not, if it's just a job, you're kind of waiting on the leads. Like if you're working somewhere, whatever job you're working, 9 to 5, you're as an employee, you got some responsibilities, some tasks you do on a daily basis. And then it's kind of like, well, I'm just kind of waiting for people to come in through the door. And it's not waiting. You got to create the momentum. But let's get into TSL. TSL, what Drew allows agents, senior placement agents, to build something that's truly theirs. Speak on that real quick.
Yeah, it's really personalized to your area. And so what it does is kind of creates a Zillow-like search listing of all the senior living communities in your area. And that becomes a landing page that belongs to you that you can send to families that are looking for senior living options. And we can kind of talk more about like what are some of the advantages there. But the point here is that it's really personalized to you, and your face and your phone number show up as the contact information.
Absolutely. Well, hey, not just stuck in a job, but I think even some of this more seasoned senior placement agents, they're stuck in 2015 business model. And I think they're going to be rudely awakened in about 5 years when the business is not really that much. And this is the way, and we'll get into franchise a little bit later, but it's the way franchises teach it. It's the way I've taught it for years, the way I actually started my business, because I started my business in 2018. So it was close to that 2015 mark. But man, you got to fast forward and realize where we are today. And some of the same things that, worked back in the day just don't work today, right? I mean, this is on the scale of, I mentioned this, I think, on the YouTube channel, even yesterday, talked a little bit about it. And it's like, even in sports, I mean, you got a team that's dynamic, you're winning championships, but the game evolves, the game changes, and your personnel changes, and you've got to make adjustments. You got to be willing to adopt. If you are not willing to do that, and you're not willing to say, hey, this is the three models, the 2015 traditional model, online, or TSL, that kind of thing. And it's okay to kind of stay in the 2015 business model, and when it's working, until it's not, until it doesn't, until it slows down.
Well, I think it's even worse than I would say it's like a 2005 business model, because you look at real estate, right? It really.
Woo! Let's go back
You,
in time,
I,
back in the
I
future.
would I would ask the senior placement agents watching this to ask yourselves, what if someone wants to work with me as a senior placement agent, what do they have to do to engage with my service? And for most people, this is they have to call me, they have to email me, they have to meet with me. And that's like real estate in 2005. You had to meet with a real estate agent. You couldn't just browse listings. There was no Zillow came out in like 2007. And so you had to kind of contact a person and then have them tell you about what properties are available. And that's how we're doing placement in senior living today. It's crazy.
That's such a great analogy, because in real estate, the average real estate agent in the United States makes between $52,000 and $56,000 a year. Now, I understand there's some that make millions, some that make a $500,000. There's always the 1% of the industry, whatever you're in. But if you're not part of that 1% and you're part of just the everyday average Joe doing real estate, you're making between 52 and 56. I talked to a lady just the other day. She might even watch this channel, So I know she does, actually. She watched a lot of my videos, so she might hear this. She's actually in Florida. I won't mention your name, but she makes $100,000 a year doing real estate. And she's been doing it for a number of years, and she knows the business inside and out. I mean, and I know that because I was talking to her, and I don't know real estate that well. I mean, I've only been a real estate appraiser back in my 20s. Outside of that, I got no real estate experience whatsoever. I sold mobile homes at one point. Maybe that gives me some real estate. I have no idea. I don't think so. But so I'm listening to this lady, and she's giving me all the right language and all the right techniques. She's telling me, bam, bam, what she's doing, what she's not doing. And she's got the system down. And to your point, that's just like the senior placement agents today. They have it all down. And they got something cooking, and it's working. And I'm not saying don't ride that momentum wave, ride it out, but it'll work until it doesn't. So
it'll work until Zillow comes to your town.
That's right. Right. So still driving brochures to communities, hoping someone calls. I know a lot. I've never done a brochure, and I'm just not a bag on brochure. I've actually done a video on that, not to do a brochure. But it's not that I'm against brochures. I've never done it. I've seen brochures in skilled nursing facilities where you pull them off the rack and blow the dust off of it. I mean, so I don't see how they're that effective, especially the amount of money you're going to spend on brochures versus a business card. So I've never done them. I had a community I used to work with. They refused to get brochures because of the amount of money it cost. And that was a company. They were refusing to do that. They even saw they weren't that effective, right? So you're just putting stuff out there. But, and then talking about families, I mean, you're doing the 2015 model, but families are searching online now. They're online. I mean, I've been doing the online approach, Drew, since the late 2019. And just to your point about Zillow, there's plenty of people that are searching for senior living that are going online and searching. And they are slowly but surely getting away from just typing in assisted living on Google and getting a list, and the first 5 being ads, and and trying to sort and sift through the whole thing, right? They want much more of a customizable approach where they can actually get on a site like tourseniorliving.org, get on there, look at that. You see some of the partners and everything that's going on. They get on there and they can do a search, right? And put in their different areas of what they need. So,
I mean, my grandfather is about 85 years old, and he's on Zillow looking at homes. He's not picking up the phone and calling a real estate agent to tell me about what's available in this area.
I was talking to a seasoned senior placement agent the other day, and I told this person, I said, no offense to you and no offense to me, because I'll put me in the category too, but as much as you're great at what you do, holding their hand through the process, you don't need to hold my hand. I'm married. I wouldn't go through you. I wouldn't go through me. I would go through like something like TSL. I would want to have some control of myself. So there's that audience of people that I'm afraid that the senior placement agents that are stuck back in 2015, they're going to lose those people. They might get us some of the people that are accustomed to use like that. And to their rebuttal, they might say, well, I'm dealing with a lot of older people. And you, as an audience out there, you might be thinking that. I mean, I'm dealing with an older crowd. Well, you know what? In this business, you talk to the adult kids most often. And the adult kids are kind of like my age, 56 years of age. I have no problem getting on StreamYard and YouTube and going around social media. As a matter of fact, that's kind of one of my things that I do, right? So that is the people you're going to do. So TSL is the online search tool that you said that puts them in front of families 24/7. But let's get number 3, Drew. They don't know how to market themselves. And speak to us a little bit about how TSL helps us market.
Well, I can understand the frustration. It's difficult because, and I think what it is your call to action is requires a lot of trust and energy. You know, we just had this story from one of our TSL partners. She got a lead through Facebook. There was a family who had posted who needed help and care, and so she went in and replied. It was actually in a group of senior placement agents. So there are all these replies like, call me, I'm an expert, call me, call me. And then Jaren's post was, hey, check out this link and see to see the availability in your area. And it was a link to TSL. And so the son clicked the link, and our partner got in touch with the son, and they talked, and the son loved it. He's like, this is exactly what I needed. It showed me all the options in my area. But just having that call to action be click this link and get all the information you need, so much better than hop on a phone call with someone you don't know for an indefinite amount of time.
Yeah, I got on here like senior placement agents typically have amazing hearts.
Yeah.
But they typically, with some of my students, as well as people I know, they have terrible branding. And hence they have no visibility. And so they come at it with a good heart. They want to help people, but they don't know how to brand. And maybe you're one of those individuals out there. You've heard me say all along, get on social media, do all this kind of stuff. And you can, and you should. But TSL actually puts you at the forefront of your branding. You'll have something that no one else has in your area. Hence, you will be visible, because if you're not visible, people don't know about you. They can never contact you. They'll never do business with you. And people say all the time, well, you can't, people won't do business with people they don't trust. Well, they have to know you before they can trust you. They have to know of you, and so it's just like no visibility, that kind of deal. But TSL does provide, I think, Drew, instant credibility, a web presence, and modern tools to show up strong. I think that with all my heart.
And it gives you something to share, that you can provide value in these online channels. When you're posting that link, that gives them all that information about senior living options in that area. You just delivered value to that person. When you post your phone number, it's not instant value.
No, it's not.
It gives you something to share.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, it gives you something to share, because if you post your phone number, and you mentioned this earlier, as far as that is a strong call to action. I mean, in terms of someone calling you, that's a big commitment on their part. It may not seem like to you, I mean, not to you specifically, but the audience, but it is a big commitment for somebody just to call your number. They don't know you, right? But to go on a landing page, go on a website, go on and see a bunch of communities, they can do their own search at their leisure from at their home. Dude, that is unbelievable what they can do. So number 4, they wait for referrals instead of building relationships. Ultimately, no pipeline, guys, and senior placement agencies that you're trying to form. Be an entrepreneur, solopreneur, we're trying to do, but no pipeline, no paychecks. But TSL empowers, Drew, the agents to be proactive with SNFs, hospitals, care homes, communities, all the different rests. Speak to that real quick. How does it empower the agents?
Well, it's that thing of you're coming in to show them a technology. I ran into this. I would get anxious about going into a new SNF or a hospital and introducing myself and handing my business card, and explaining why, trying to verbally explain why I'm a great senior placement agent and why the person you've been working with for 10 years is, you should work with me instead.
Right,
As
right.
long as I like verbally persuade people. But this kind of flips that around and it becomes much more like a demo meeting where I'm bringing in a
Ooh, great
tablet.
analogy.
I'm showing you all the senior living communities in the area, some that the social worker maybe didn't even know that existed down the street. And so it has this surprise and delight factor when you're meeting with new lead sources like that, because you're able to show them something that they've never seen before, provides that instant value, breaks the ice, and really helps you stand out from the rest.
Absolutely. And number 5, they don't understand really the value of what they do. I firmly believe that. I've talked to hundreds of people. Many of them jumped into the senior home business community. Some did not, but just having conversations with people, and they don't understand the value of what they're doing. Right? I mean, you're just not placing a senior. This is pretty strong terminology. You're saving a family, and that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but then again, it's not, because these families are in a very traumatic situation. They've now have to embrace something that they did not have a clue that they're going to have to deal with this. Right now, again, you might say, well, the senior's older. I mean, who would not think about something like this? Well, some people don't, but then again, this process sometimes starts earlier than expected. Right? There's seniors that are 90 plus, that are independent. And there's plenty of seniors that are 65, 70, 75. God, I'm getting close to that age, Drew. In that range, if something happens, they fall, go to the hospital, skilled nursing, rehab. Now they're in that position where they didn't think they were going to be in that position, right? We all think we have, a 100-year lifespan, and most of us don't, right? The average lifespan, I think, is somewhere around 75, 76 in that range, depends on if you're a male or female. But it's to understand that things change, and they change rapidly. So as a senior placement agent, you're not just placing a senior somewhere, you're actually helping the family, navigating them through a process that they desperately need to know, right? And so I got Drew. TSO reminds agents they're the guide families are searching for. I mean, that is a prime example, like whether they stumble across your landing page or you help them out online.
Yeah, and I think about placement agents I've known that have been in the business for, been doing it for 20 years. I remember one I was hanging out with, and she got a piece of mail from a family that she helped 10 years ago. It was a handwritten thank you card. 10 years later, I don't know any other industry that gets that kind of love for the service that you all provide. It's pretty incredible, impactful.
Absolutely. Number 6, they rely on one method instead of a system. And I'm a firm believer in any business to be successful, you have to have systems in place, processes in place. And a lot of the senior placement agents do not. They get to know the process, they get to know the industry. They want to hobnob with people, connect with people, go to events, do these different things, but they don't really have a system in place. And so many agents have one strategy. That strategy is hope. Hope. Well, hope doesn't work, you guys. No workflows, no automation, no tech. And TSL really gives you a plug and play system to grow and track and scale placements. Now, what we've done is, Drew, we have one placement agent per territory. So the plug and play thing, we're not talking about you just sign up with TSL and you turn an on switch and the thing just totally automated, right? We're not talking about that. It is a plug and play where the system is built for you, and the power behind it, unlike national companies, is that you're the boots on the ground. So you're still making the contacts with people, establishing those relationships, understanding the quality of these communities, what their state reviews are, their reputation, different things like that, and be able to formulate not a list, but a searchable database that empowers the family to see the ideal communities that mom should be in. So that's what I mean by plug and play. So I don't want you to be confused out there, audience, that you just turn on a switch and I got to do nothing. I'm just going to sit back and watch leads come in. Matter of fact, I'm not going to talk to anybody. They're just going to talk to themselves and show up. That's not necessarily true. Now with the system, Drew, which is cool, the senior placement agent may not even talk to the family. There's a component, and we won't get into it too much today, but they're able to contact the community, right? without the senior placement agent, and the senior placement agent still gets paid. We did this. We mentioned this comment, I think, about a week or two ago. And I had a comment from the same person on 2 different videos. So we must have mentioned it twice. And she goes, why are you guys mentioning that? Because senior placement agents won't get paid.
Right.
And I get the traditional model. Yeah, don't do that. The 2015 model, yeah, don't do that. Don't encourage people to call communities without you. But with TSL and the 2025 model that you should be involved in, man, have them call through your platform, through your landing page, call the community. Right, Drew?
That's right. Yeah, that's our AI call tracking technology is what enables you to track every phone call that's going through the system and make sure that that lead is attributed back to you, the senior placement agent.
Love it, man. Number 7, they think franchise equals security. The reason we got this up here, you guys, because we've got a number of people, and I say a number, it's less than 5. So it's 3, 4, something like that. I'm not trying to over exaggerate, like we got hundreds, but there's under 5 right now. But there's some momentum going on, seems to be, with some franchisees out there. They're like, man, I want more. I want more coaching. I want more technology. I want more than what the franchises are able to give me, or at this point are giving them. And so, and this is not the bag franchise, anything like that. But I mean, when you look at it, that's the current rate right now, $85,000 up front. Now, monthly fees are going to be between $800 and $3,000 a month over a 10-year period of time. You've got territory limits, outdated tools. Some are literally paying to stay broke. And I say that because I know an example of this one person. I don't know him personally. It's through another person that mentioned this to me, is that they have a franchise, they've been with the franchise for a year, and they're doing at most 1 move-in per month. And she paid $75,000 to be a part of the franchise, and she's paying the monthly fees. Now, I don't know what her monthly fees are. They could be closer to $800,000, $1,200. It gets to $3,000 as time goes on down the road. So let's say she's paying $1,000 a month, and she's paid $75,000 up front over 12 months. Drew, you know the math. She's paid $87,000, and let's say 1 move-in. So let's say the $87,000 she paid in, 1 move-in per month, which she's not really doing that every month. Let's give her the benefit of the doubt saying that. And let's say she's done 1 move-in at $5,000. Just make it an average referral fee out there. So the 5 times 12 is 60. So she's at 87 minus, she's 20, if my math is right, $27,000 in the hole. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
So I signed up all this money to be a part of this thing, and now I'm like $27,000 in the hole.
Yeah.
And the hole is getting deeper until I get more placements, because it's still the monthly fees. And then not only they're 1,000, but they continuously increase through that. So, I mean, with TSL, it really offers freedom, ownership, better tech without the franchise trap. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, we don't take any cuts of placement fees. That's all. That upside is all yours. But I think what the temptation is when you're new to an industry or new to a business, you really focus on like the operations. What happens when I get a lead? How do I help that family? And that's a good play, because that's where their heart is, right? They want to help families. But what they soon realize, I think, is that the hardest part is getting the leads. and there's very few solutions out there to help you get more leads. And so if you get more leads, your business can grow. And I think that's the bottleneck for a lot of people who are just starting out.
Absolutely. Number 8, we got 3 more. 8, they avoid technology instead of embracing it. I think there's a fear, Drew, of tech. It keeps people small. It's just stay in that 2015 model. Got to stay here. I'm comfortable. I'm used to it. It's something I've always done. I don't have to learn something new. I just got to know more people. I got to knock on more doors, give out more brochures. But tech is what today's families expect. It's their starting point. To your point earlier with Zillow, that's their starting point. I'm looking for another house next year and a half. I'm not contacting a real estate agent. I've got plenty of people contacting me that know me and want me to go through them. What have I been doing? I've been on Zillow.
And this is, we say tech, but this Zillow came out in 2007. This is like 18 year old. This is 18 years old. This is not like some advanced.
It didn't start yesterday.
brand new thing you got to learn. No, this is my 85-year-old grandfather uses Zillow. This is not
Okay, going to
so far
Zillow point real quick. When it came out in 2007, I wonder what, and this is pure speculation, but I wonder what people thought when Zillow came to town, came to their place on the internet. You could search for real estate. And then I think you alluded to this earlier. You probably think the real estate agents probably thought the same thing the senior placement agents are thinking now. Dude, I hold their hand through the process.
right.
I open the door of the home. I bring them a
Yeah.
gift basket. I drive them around all these different homes. That's
Right.
exactly what the senior placement agent is doing today. And they think, well, okay, well, this is the way it's always going to be. And real estate is not that way anymore, right? Again, I'm not a real estate guy, so don't shoot me down, but I just don't see real estate being like that today.
Yeah, and like to your point, Matt, too, is we're dealing with the adult children are from more like the Gen X millennial era now, and they have different kind of expectations on how they like to interact with information and make decisions. So it's a lot different than when we were mostly helping the silent generation, where they were much more comfortable, I think, working face to face just through a person, a broker, a trusted broker relationship.
Okay, so check this out. If Zillow came out, you said in 2007, thereabouts, right? And we primarily, senior placement agencies, deal with the adult kids. Let's just throw the average 60 years of age, right? Let's make that easy math. So that person would have been introduced to Zillow when, let's see, do the math, that's 15 and that's 18 years. That's what, 42 years of age. That person would have been accustomed on Zillow, and they would be like, okay, that's cool. And so that same person that was there when Zillow came to be are now the very people you're talking to. And we're still trying to do an antiquated model of holding their hand through the process.
Yeah. And I think what happens is those people get sucked into, placeformomcaring.com, and you end up missing out on those referrals maybe without even realizing that you're missing out.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. Absolutely. TSL is built to make technology simple and powerful for agents. Number 9, they don't follow up or follow through. That's typical with senior placement agents. No offense to my friends out there and students out there. It's not an indictment on you, but a lot of the senior placement agents that I know, let's just say my own area, guys forgive me. I know a lot of these people, a lot of them are just notoriously lazy, man. I mean, they just are. And I tell you how they get lazy. This is how they get lazy. It's not they're not good people. It's not they don't have a big heart. It's not they don't try to serve. It's not they don't go on the tours. It's not they don't even make calls and the follow up and follow through. Here's what I mean is they'll struggle for a little bit. And let's say they have a fantastic month. Let's say they get 8 move-ins. And let's use the average math of 5. So they just made $40,000. They're on pace for that particular month to make $500,000 a year. So they start dreaming about the vacation they're going on, the things that they're doing, and then they start losing the very discipline that got them there. I got a prime example that several years back, actually it's been about more like 3 or 4 years ago. I was talking to a marketing director, and she asked me like, how was April doing? How'd your month go? I went pretty well. I'm pretty consistent what I do. We've been growing every year or so, but every month is consistent, except if you follow me, January is not that consistent, but February to December is pretty consistent. So I said, it went real well. And she goes, yeah, this one particular senior placement agent, and him and his wife, they had a really good April as well. She goes, but what about your May? I went, about the same. She goes, they didn't have any move-ins in May. I said, it is virtually impossible to go from 10 move-ins or 8, whatever they had. They had between 8 and 10. I don't know what they had. And then go to 0 in May. And the reason it's virtually impossible is the senior placement agent didn't just start 6 months ago. Matter of fact, he's been a year longer than me. So he has a funnel. He's got contacts. But what I said, I can tell you what they did. They went on vacation somewhere, an extended vacation. She's right. They went out of town for like 2.5 weeks. They just went, they got their 40 G's and went, baby, we just need that vacation, which I go on vacation too and go out of town. I'm not bagging that. But they went and just forgot their business, I guess. I don't know. When I go on vacation, this is the cool thing about senior placement agents, especially with TSL. You can do this business on the road. You don't have to do this business in the comfort of your office where I'm sitting at right now. You can do it on the road. So I got leads leak, families ghost, referrals fade, and they're too overwhelmed to track it all. But man, TSL, Drew, it tracks, manages, organizes everything in one place, your digital command center. And I like that piece. I don't know if that's, language we've actually used, but I like the digital command center. It gives you an advantage, right, Drew?
Yeah, because you've got all of this expertise in your head as a senior placement, your knowledge of the communities and the different types of care that's being offered. And as a traditional senior placement agent, the only way you can share that expertise with the family is by talking with them. Time consuming. Sometimes these phone calls go for like 2 hours. You've been on these. It's hard, when a family's in crisis like that, it's very hard to be succinct on a phone call.
Yeah,
They really need your
absolutely.
help. They really need your expertise in that moment. So what TSL allows you to do is to share your expertise in a link so the family can kind of see all of the best communities. They can filter by care needs. And now you have kind of scaled yourself. You've expanded your service to serve more people with less time burden on you.
Absolutely.
Senior placement agent.
Totally get it, man. Last one, they gave up on a big vision, right? I mean, basically, some started with fire. Now they're just tired. No dream, no strategy, no income. And I speak to that because I get a lot of people that have called me over time and wanted to get involved, or they were already involved and want additional coaching. And, they come there with fire, man. They're ready to go. They're ready to take the world. And then it blows me away. And I get a little bit of it because they want to see immediate results. But I get some literally, Drew, that call me back in 2 to 4 weeks going, man, I don't want to do. Struggling. I'm like, if you went and started a business like downtown somewhere, wherever you live, open up your shop, I don't know anybody that would be thinking about getting out of the business in 30 days. And I think that maybe the reason is it's so easy to get out when you don't have a franchise because you're in your home office. You're working from your couch, your kitchen table, you're in your car. It's that much easier. And you start getting one rejection after another, facing multiple objections as you're talking to people. And then instead of being a problem solver to get through it, what you tend to do is let's take the easy road and let's go ahead and do something else. This must not be for me. And if you ever get to that place, I totally understand. You got to change your mindset. But if you give into that, I would even question your why that you should be in this business anyway. Because if you're looking for a quick buck, it has happened. Most of the time, it does not happen. And you got to be in the long game. I mean, we've been doing this, Drew, for a long time. And I love TSL again. Come back to, I think it reignites the vision by showing agents what's possible, right? It's something different. It's unique. No one else has it. It's proprietary software, and it's just no other agent can get that. I mean, so it immediately sets you apart. I don't know why any agent out there, if you own a franchise or you're in the business, that you would not want to be a part of TSL.
Yeah, because I've been there trying to get in the traditional way, and you get in this negative feedback loop where you get rejection after rejection, and then it becomes hard to leave the house because your body is almost afraid of more rejection. But on the flip side of that, there's a positive feedback loop that can happen too, where when you're demoing that tablet and the social worker sees all the communities in the area and their eyes light up and they go, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
That's right.
Their excitement is contagious. It'll rub off on you. And then you get in this really positive feedback loop where you're excited to get out of the house and show this to new people who haven't seen it. Because the surprise and delight on their face, it feeds you energy.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, guys, I tell you what, hopefully this was helpful for you today. Talking about TSL, talking about the 2025 senior placement business model, not being stuck in 2015. Man, we should just start doing more teachings on that, Drew, and kind of educate people. And I mean, the whole Zillow thing just blows me away how long it's been going on. I didn't know until you said today that it's been around since 2007 or so. But it's TSL's here. Technology's here. AI's here. Things have changed. Things are growing. I would encourage you guys, even if you're fearful to do something, is embrace the AI, embrace the technology, embrace something new, learn something new, get involved. Like, don't be stuck. Like, how you get stuck is you face a roadblock, something in the road, boom, you get a flat tire, something like that. And then you're constantly looking at the flat tire, looking at the problem and going, man, what am I going to do? I don't have another tire, or the tire that I got back there is only good for 20 miles and I need to go 100 and there's no other gas station. And you start rehearsing all these different, and you empower the problem. Don't empower the problem, empower the solution. And so embrace something new. I'm 56 years of age. If I can embrace some of this stuff, I know a lot of you guys can. Embrace it, grow with it. But we look forward to hearing from you. If you want to know more about TSL, know more about Senior Placement Institute, know more about what we're doing as senior placement agents and how things are shifting pretty quickly, I think, in this industry, and you want to embrace some of that and have a conversation, just drop down and schedule a consultation call with us. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, God bless.